So good morning friends, welcome to Raj Malhotra IAS. So guys, here we are about to start the session. The PDF for today's session has already been uploaded, or just give me a minute, it will be uploaded. Just give me a minute, the PDF for today's session will be uploaded on our Telegram group. I'm just about to upload the PDF. It has been uploaded, you can download the PDF from our Telegram group. So good number of people have already joined us. Let's start the session. Lokesh, Mohit, Vicky, Nandini, Rohit, Anker, Pooja, Sakshi, Vaibhav, Mahi, Defense Yoda, Nisar, Mohit. Good morning, everyone. I hope you are doing good in your life. Okay, and I wish that all of you will achieve your dreams. So here we are connected and live for this particular session, and we are about to start here. We are about to start. Just give me a minute. Okay, the PDF for today's session has already been uploaded. You can download the PDF from our Telegram group. Again, we are announcing you can download the PDF from our Telegram group. So the PDF has been uploaded, you can download it from our Telegram group. Okay, sufficient number of people have already joined us. Yamandeep, Rohit, good morning everyone, and let's start the session then without wasting much time. So as you can see on the screen, Nitish Kumar dumps BJP for RJD, sets to form the government afresh. Okay, so when we talk about coalition government, this is one of the major drawback of the coalition government, that the uncertainty is quite high. And again, it has been proven, the it has been proven uncertainty is quite high, stability might not be there, stability of the government might be missing, and again it has been proved. So this coalition has been breached, the coalition is over now, and the new government is in, you can say, will be in existence with new partner. And this is, you can say, drawback of opportunism. This is what is going on in our you can say political system, because if you see, Nitish Kumar was earlier with BJP. Okay, it was part of, he was part of an NDA. Before that, he joined hand with RJD in the past, then again move back to NDA. Okay, so this sort of arrangement is there, and this is the height of opportunism, that you are changing the party. Okay, you are changing the partner without you can say any inclination of ideology as well. Okay, so there are few things that are really important, that on ground this particular alliance might not be that effective. Okay, so earlier also they have tried, but it was not effective at that time. Today we don't know what is going to happen. So this is a major drawback of the coalition politics, and other than that there is nothing much, कुछ खास नहीं है वहाँ पे. Okay, a new privacy feature on WhatsApp, you can easily have a look on this. Okay, it is just for the users. Privacy will be further protected by the WhatsApp. Privacy in the sense that if you are leaving any particular group, okay, if you are part of any group, WhatsApp group, and you are leaving that group, you can leave that group silently, that no one will come to know about it. This is the new additional feature that WhatsApp is going to add as part of privacy. Okay, so it's a good thing, it's a good thing. Other than that there is nothing much, कुछ खास नहीं है यहाँ पे. Okay, so let's move to the next news, and specifically here we will be dealing with the editorial section. Okay, so let's rush to the editorial section, try to figure it out what exactly is there in the editorial. Okay, so here we are now. Withdrawal of data bill was the bad move. See, you need to understand one thing, there is a very big paradox in India. Why it's a paradox? Because at one point we talk about digital India. Okay, now digital India we are looking forward, it means that data will be generated, but we don't have data protection law in this country. Okay, we don't have data protection law. Now that's a really, you can say, a situation of concern, because if you don't have a data protection law, how can you encourage people to be digital? Because if there is a data loss, okay, people will be dissuaded to go for digital. अगर कहीं पे डाटा लॉस होगा, डाटा ब्रीच होगा, तो लोग कभी नहीं कभी भी जो है आपके यहाँ पे नहीं आएंगे. Okay, so this is a major, you can say, point that you have to understand here. Now before starting this particular thing, let me tell you one thing here. Okay, so just have look on this particular question. Now this is your mains 2018 question. Okay, so the question is regarding data security has assumed significant importance in the digitalized world due to rising cybercrime. The Justice B.N. Shri Krishna Committee report addresses the issue related to the data security. Now it is this B.N. Shri Krishna Committee which came out with a model law. Okay, model data protection law. Now these recommendations, they came way back in 2018, and since then we are trying. So it's been 2022 right now. Your parliament has not been able to pass this law. Okay, and the point is this, again this bill has been forfeited by the, you can say, the government, and you can further add at least 1 year, at least one more year, okay, to pass this particular legislation, because you have to reframe the particular law, and this is what this new problem is about. Now, like, this is how it was. The enactment of the personal data protection bill into law would have helped create a framework for redress. Right now we don't have any mechanism. Okay, we don't have any, you can say, mechanism in this country, any safeguard in this country, safeguard specifically if the government entity is sharing our data. If the government entity is sharing our data, we have no protection. You cannot make the other side accountable. You cannot go and complain about these things. So it's a, you can say, a major concern for us, okay, that we don't have this arrangement, and we are talking about digital India. Now, instead of moving forward with the law, government decided to withdraw the Personal Data Protection Bill 2019. Okay, see, multiple reasons have been stated, but one of the most prominent reason was that 81 amendments were proposed. 81 amendments were proposed to that particular bill. It means that the formation of the bill itself was faulty. That's why in the initial stage itself you require 81 amendments. So that's why, like, 81 amendments, instead of going ahead with the 81 amendments, they said that okay, let's reframe the bill. Let's reframe the bill, let's withdraw this particular bill, and we will come out with a new law. This is what government is thinking right now. So from one angle it is appearing to be right. Instead of having a, you can say, patchworked bill, you are coming out with the new law. Now multiple, you can say, things are there that government is thinking of coming out with the fresh privacy legislation. Okay, and alternatively government might also be thinking that data protection can be subsumed into the Information Technology Act 2000. Then there is the third point, that we may now want to create a law for digital market as well. Okay, in the lines of European Union Digital Service Act. So these sort of things are there. Means by the time we were coming out with this law, new things have already added to the concern, and this might have, you can say, prompted the government to, okay, instead of going ahead with the law, let's frame another law. Okay, that might be the reason. That might be the reason. So this is what is this about. These are just speculation, but the ministry circular is no clear about what is the reason why they are coming out with this. Now here is the history of data protection in this country. So here are these facts in front of you, as you can see. Now after the KS Puttaswamy judgment, that is right to privacy, okay, uh, there was this BN Syndication Committee that was formed to basically to recommend to the government that what all could be done. Okay, what all should be done. For that, this particular committee was formed to suggest some of the provisions of data protection. Now this committee did came out with the recommendations way back in 2018. There was public articulation, etc., etc., etc. Later on, government did come out with the Aadhaar Act as well. Okay. Now these provisions were added. These provisions were added. ये सब ऐड हुआ. Now the point is this. The point is this. But still, despite this, system are ineffective. Okay. The law that we brought out, 2019 bill. Now there are some serious concerns about it. One of the major concern is this, that that particular bill, it has lot of problems. Okay, serious lacuna are there, and Justice Shri Krishna criticized the bill for its potential to turn into in an Orwellian state. Okay, now what is this Orwellian state? So you should know that there was a person called George Orwell. Okay, now George Orwell composed an idea, and according to him, Orwellian state is state where welfare is not there. Okay, state where welfare is not there. So that is termed as Orwellian state, that state which doesn't care about the welfare of the people, rights of the people, that type of state. Okay, so that this was the prime concern, as it was stated that India might develop into a Orwellian state which will not care about the welfare of the people, which will have just have the interest of the government. Okay, which will just have the interest of the government, that Sarkar will be their prime concern, and this is how they will work. Okay, they will not care about people, their rights, and there will be surveillance sort of things. Okay, these things were there. Now there were some serious concerns. Those concerns were like this: the bill, like there were some exemptions that were given to the bill. Okay, it means that some of the agencies were not covered, were outside the purview of the bill because of the exemptions, specifically the intelligence agencies and all, in the name of national security and public order. Okay, so the thing is this: these things are not defined anywhere. कहीं पे ये चीज़ डिफाइंड नहीं है, एंड एज दीज आर नॉट डिफाइंड एनीवेयर, सो बेसिकली इट कैन बी मिसयूज्ड. जो चीज़ डिफाइंड नहीं होती उसका मिसयूज भी हो सकता है. ठीक है ना. So this is how these are. Now these exemptions were never, you can say, discussed in parliament. There was no debate, nothing like that, and randomly these, you can say, things were arranged. So this was a major concern. Means the bill that you came out with, it was basically not having a, you can say, comprehensive mandate of the people. That was a major cause, and this led to this particular step by the government to withdraw that bill. Now, Member of Parliament Jairam Ramesh pointed out in the dissent note that government agencies are treated as a separate privileged class. Now, this is a serious concern. Okay, ये सबसे बड़ा concern है. See, you need to understand one thing. The bureaucracy has this tendency to dominate. Okay, so if these government agencies, they will have no oversight over them, then definitely they will become a totalitarian systems, totalitarian agencies which will not care about the people. Okay, and people who are sitting in those particular agencies, they will become powerful entities if no checks and balances are arranged. So this is specifically important that we have the arrangement for the checks and balances. Otherwise things are not going to be good for the democratic setup. Okay, this is what the whole idea was about, because this was a genuine criticism. बहुत ही genuine criticism है. ठीक है ना. So other point was that, like, this bill was proposed to establish a stronger regulator called Data Protection Authority. Now this Data Protection Authority was supposed to have lot of powers with little accountability and independence. Okay, so if they don't have independence, in the means that appointments to the Data Protection Authority was still made by the government. Okay, and this gives a chance to the government to dominate this particular Data Protection Authority. And if Data Protection Authority is being, you can say, run by the instructions of the government, then you can very easily point out that it can be misused. It can be misused. See, we are a land where Pegasus was used. Okay, हम वो जमीन है जहाँ पे Pegasus यूज हुआ था opposition के against, media के against. Okay, so in the same way, these agencies which are sarkari, and appointments were also made as per the sarkari system, so these agencies can be misused by the government. That was quite possible. Now other point was that the bill imposed a strong data localization mandate, requiring companies to store all sensitive personal data and critical personal data in India. Now, despite concerns around the surveillance and increased cost of compliance expressed by the civil society, the private sector, the government, did not endorse cross-border data transfer. Okay, now the point is this: sometimes the servers might be located in US and your agencies might be needing it. In the same way, servers are located in your your country, and some other agencies might be needed it. Okay, so in that situation, data transfer have not been, you can say, addressed adequately. So it should have been done. It should have been done, because sometimes you will require some sort of flexibility to deal with those uncalled for circumstances. Okay, now this particular joint parliamentary committee recommended subsuming the regulation of personal data and non-personal data within a single legislation, even though it undermined the Puttaswamy mandate. Okay, so see, the point is this: what is personal and what is not personal, it is very difficult to define. Either you do have a clear cut definition so that we can move ahead with that. If not, you have to come out with the single system, because that is going to create a lot of confusion in the implementation of the law itself. Okay, so things are to be made clear. Without that, you cannot go ahead and expect the executive agencies to implement this particular law in true spirit. Okay, now government is also making a strong push for digital India. Now this is the biggest joke that we have here. You are heading toward digitalization of access to services through internet, and here we don't have a data protection law. Okay, and only thing that is left is your criminal procedure identification act 2022. तो ये सारी चीजें बनती हैं सिर्फ. Okay, and you have IT Act 2000. Now IT Act 2000, it is an old law in the sense, this is, that law may not be effective today because it has not been updated with time. Another point was that the mandate of IT law was not to deal with data protection. Okay, data protection was not never the mandate of IT law. IT law was defined to basically address the crimes and other things that were happening through the misuse of internet. That was the prime use of it. Data protection was not the specific use of IT law. So that law at present will be ineffective to deal with the present situation of cyber crime and cyber security. We need to be clear about it. Okay, this is what the whole idea is about. So that's why, like, we need to work upon it, and we need to come out with this law as early as possible. Now you have to consult with the civil society organization. Okay, we cannot have a top down approach. You need to consult all different players that are there in this particular industry. Okay, so this is what this data protection is about. So other thing is this: fair trial goes beyond the court to the police and the media. Now here you need to understand role of police and media. They are quite crucial here. Okay, so this is how it is. Now at present there is a situation which is quite grim. That grim is this: media trial. Media is used basically to influence the investigation. Okay, it has happened multiple times, investigation, and it impacts the working of police. Other point is this: police itself, sometimes we have seen, is basically working under the pressure, specifically the political pressure. So these two entities, they create lot of trouble. They are basically a hurdle, you can say, in the investigative process. And at present the scenario is this: due to politicization and other issues, both the entities, they are not doing their work on time. What has been expected from them, they are not doing those particular things. Okay, media, we know how things are there. Media is just working on sensationalizing. Okay, and this is an era where we are living in the era of yellow journalism. Okay, so हम yellow journalism में जी रहे हैं, where sensationalization and TRPs are the major goals for your media houses. Okay, things have changed completely. Parallel to that, we have police is facing this major problem of politicization. Okay, so this is how these are the problems that are existing right now. Political parties, they are also having influence over the media houses as well. So in this way they can seriously impact, or you can say they can influence the investigation process that are being carried out in the court. This is what it is about. So we'll move to the next part here. The next news is regarding this thing: navigating Sri Lanka's rocky road to recovery. Okay, so things are going to be tough in the sense that here Sri Lankan government have to be very dexterous in the sense that you need to take help from all of them. Okay, so say China, you need to help from China, India, okay, even from Japan, and even from United States. This is the really tough time. IMF definitely is going to provide some assistance to Sri Lanka. Okay, and till the time that assistance is available to Sri Lanka, India is helping Sri Lanka out. Okay, That's the major point that we are considering. And latest controversy, if you see, there was a controversy of spy ship that was entering, you can say, the Sri Lankan waters. Okay, that spy ship was from China, and India has raised serious concern, and Sri Lankan government have also responded to ours. Okay, so at present Sri Lankan government is responding to the Indian complaint, and this is really a positive development. Okay, but China is not happy with this. China is not happy with this, and this is how the games are being played in the Indian subcontinent. So it will be like this. So it will be in the interest of Indian, you can say, Indian economy as well, that Sri Lanka is stable, Sri Lanka is doing well. Okay, this is what it is about. Now other news is regarding rankings that make no sense. Okay, so here it is about the National Institutional Ranking Framework. National Institutional Ranking Framework. So it has been found that there is no transparency in that. Okay, whatever rankings that are out, there is no transparency in the functioning of this particular framework. The second point is this framework is coming out with the rank. Okay, what about the state universities that are there? By just bringing the rankings, is it going to provide solution? Just ranking, okay, is this the solution? Is this the solution? That's the major point you have to address. And on what parameters these rankings are to be produced? Do you have any fair criteria to rank different institutions? Because humanities, engineering, management, medical institutions are to be compared with each other. Based on that, we are going to have these rankings. So do you have any criteria so that you can decide the parameters and all? So these are the some of the valid concerns that are being raised in looking into these particular things. Okay, so that's the major point. That's the major point here. Now other than that, there is nothing much, कुछ खास नहीं है यहाँ पे. So here we will move to the next part. Now how the maiden flight of ISRO's SSLV went very. Okay, so SSLV, we all know, it's a short satellite launch vehicle. Okay, so basically the point is this: we have different workhorses. So you have polar satellite launch vehicle and you have GSLV as well. Okay, the point is, the question is this: if we have these two horses, they are quite effective, India has mastered these particular launch vehicles, so why we went for the SSLV? See, SSLV is primarily designed to, you can say, facilitate the launching of vehicles for easy weight category. Easy weight in the sense, suppose you want to launch a satellite from 50 to 500 kg of weight, okay, which falls under the means less weight category, and you will not require a bigger setup to be sent in the space. Now this SSLV is really cost effective. Okay, it is really cost effective, and this is the reason why we opted for this SSLV. Now few things happen in this mission, so we will look into that. Okay, what exactly happened? Now this particular mission was supposed to basically put two satellites in the orbit. Okay, one was for remote sensing, एक आपके रिमोट सेंसिंग की सैटेलाइट थी, एंड द अदर वन वाज आजादी सैट. ओके, इट वाज from any university or institution. Now this was to be, you can say, put in an orbit. It was supposed to be put in a circular orbit, but there was some issue, sensors were not working, and instead of putting it in a circular orbit, these satellites have been placed in an elliptical orbit. Okay, so that's why we are saying that it's of no use, as they have been put in the elliptical orbit. अब ये elliptical orbit में है और ये हमारे किसी काम का नहीं है, ये इसरो ने बता दिया है. Okay, this mission is a failure. This mission is a failure. Okay, that was the major point. Now the malfunctioning of sensors resulted in placing of satellite in an elliptical orbit. We know that, rather than the circular orbit. Okay, and majorly each earth majorly, like, these satellites are placed in circular orbit, because if you are putting them at a fixed place, at a fixed height, then you can easily observe the earth. So we do have other work engines, PSLV, GSLV, but they are quite powerful, carrying huge satellites, huge loads and all. But we required a system for small system, that is from 10 to 500 kgs of satellite. Okay, now this SSLV is quite effective in that. दो सैटेलाइट भेजनी है तो छोटे वाला व्हीकल भेज दो आप. Other point is this is powered by a solid fuel engine, and this is the other advantage. Okay, it is quite easier to handle. Liquid propellants are quite difficult. They are quite difficult to manage. That's why PSLV, GSLV are more complex. So SSLV is quite easy to operate. So considering these particular reasons, we opted for this particular satellite launch, and the result was that it ended up in a failure, and it was the maiden flight. Okay, so this is what it is about. This is what it is about. So let's move to the next part now on guardianship and adoption of minors. So here there are some inputs from the Parliamentary Standing Committee, and they have suggested few things. They reviewed the guardianship and adoption law in this country, and they have this suggestion that people from LGBTQ community, they should also be allowed, okay, to adopt child. At present, as per the adoption regulations 2017, there is no provision specifically mentioned for LGBTQ community. Okay, but here this particular standing committee is recommending this thing, that LGBTQ community should be allowed to adopt a child. But it will be a very big thing, because till now we don't recognize same-sex marriage. Okay, so same-sex marriage is not recognized in India. So till the time you don't recognize a marriage, how can you allow LGBTQ to go ahead with the adoption? That's a major concern. Okay, this is the point that we have to look into this. So this is what this whole debate is about. See, things are going to be really very difficult, but sometimes we have to take initiatives. Okay, so these are the reforms. These are the reforms. Otherwise society will have its own pace of reforms. Society के तो अपना pace of reform होगा. Okay, it will happen when it is supposed to happen, but these are the measures that government can really think upon. At least it will bring some sort of change in the mindset of the people. Okay, because it will be a new thing to them. Now parliamentary panel has recommended conferring equal rights on mothers as guardians under the Hindu Marriage Guardianship Act, okay, 1956, instead of treating them as subordinates to their husbands. तो अब ये मदर को भी बराबर एकदम राइट्स देने की बात कर रहे हैं, दैट दे विल ऑल्सो बी हैविंग द इक्वल राइट. ओके, दिस इज व्हाट दिस आइडिया इज अबाउट. दिस इज व्हाट दिस आइडिया इज अबाउट. Now, there can be a joint custody as well. Okay, 23% of women participation in the labor. Now, this is how things are. This is how things are. Okay, so are women a good leaders? Okay, or what are the issues that are there? See, things are not going to be easy. We all know that. चीज़ें आसान नहीं होंगी, कोई भी हम उस बात को नकार नहीं सकते हैं. Okay, so it is important thing that you have to address. Now it all depends upon the political parties, because if they are giving tickets to the women candidates, definitely their representation can increase. Okay, when it comes to panchayat, so day before yesterday there was quite joking situation. Joking, why I'm saying joking, because female सरपंच were chosen by the people and their husband were taking the oath. उनके पति oath ले रहे थे. Okay, so that's the scenario in India now. It is really, you can say, alarming that despite the constitutional provision, despite the arrangement, still the journey is quite distant. Okay, सब कुछ करने के बाद भी जर्नी बहुत जो है वो दूर है. ठीक है ना, जर्नी बहुत जो है वो दूर है. दिस इज द मेजर पॉइंट. This is the major point. Okay, class has not ended, Mr. Prajapati. Class has not ended. Okay, so that's the major, you can say, point that you have to look into. Other point, let's looks into population and asset to the economies. Okay, so here Amit Shah is talking about not in numbers but the youth that we have in this country. Okay, and we are a big market. Youth is also there, energy is also there, and we are a big market as well. So these both are quite a big, you can say, assets for us. Okay, now we'll move to the next part. Bangladesh river water deal likely. Okay, so whenever we talk about Bangladesh, India, so there was Ganga water dispute, but this was resolved. Okay, ये resolve हो गया था. There are some other, you can say, disputes that are pending. One is Kushira river. Okay, Kushira river. Now this river flows from Assam to Bangladesh. Okay, so it is likely that we might be able to resolve this dispute. Some arrangement can be made regarding the sharing of water and all. So from that point, it is a good thing. Okay, from that point, it is a good thing. So this is what it is about. This is what it is about. Okay, And other than that there is nothing much, कुछ खास नहीं है यहाँ पे. Okay, so here there is nothing much regarding this particular point. Already the Teesta water is pending. Now this Teesta water dispute, it's a major, you can say, problem or major concern specifically for the West Bengal. And till the time the government of West Bengal is not on board, the government of India cannot go ahead with this Teesta water dispute. Okay, तो जब तक ये नहीं ठीक हो जाता तब तक जो है हम चीज़ों को आगे नहीं लेके जा सकते. So this is what this major issue is about. Okay, तो ये एक मेजर चीज़ है यहाँ पे जो हमें समझनी है. अदर देन दैट देर इज़ नथिंग मच, कुछ खास नहीं है यहाँ पे. ओके, this is what we have here, and there is nothing into this. Okay, so other than that कुछ खास नज़र नहीं आ रहा है इसके अंदर. ओके, and this is what it is about. Now on Indian, Taiwan holds the exercise as China continues the drill. Okay, so this is what it is about. Both are signaling to each other. Both are signaling to each other. Okay, and it's a really concern, because this is what can develop into a full-fledged war. So right now Taiwan is carrying out with their testing and all. It was also a fire drill, ये भी fire drill कर रहे हैं. So we don't know when situation is going to be normalized. Okay, but these times are really very tough. Why these times are tough? Because it is going to have impact on global economy. Okay, so already like we are facing this particular war, this particular problem because of Ukraine Russia. We are not in a situation to, you can say, survive another onslaught on the global economy. From that angle, it's a really sad thing. Okay, so we need to be really careful about these developments. The global community need to join hand to deal with these problems. Other than that, there is nothing much here. So that's it for the day then. Thank you very much.